So you've worked as a professional programmer, marketer, talent and events manager. Would you say your current role as a manager of programming and curation blends the skills you've acquired over the years?
Oh yeah. I think everything that I have done has helped me to this point. Like there would be like the reason why like I even am where I am is because like I know, like, like I know a lot of the people that work with me. And like, so, my boss knows who I am. We've worked together already. So he already knows, like, oh, this is, you know, you're great. But like,
Mhm.
it's just like, I, when I got into the music industry, I decided that I wanted to learn everything from labels to, production to marketing to like I wanted to know every aspect of every part of this whole industry because I know that if like, my end goal when I was younger, not anymore, but when I was younger was to have a label, like I want to support the artists that I really love. And I think that if I had a label, I would have known, but like in order to have a label, I need to know all the aspects and like being able to learn all of that was really helpful. And then getting into programming itself, like I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was like, what do you mean programming? The fuck that's a job? Like you literally just put music videos into TV? Like what? That sounds
Mhm.
insane. But it was actually the best thing to ever happen to me. And not only that, like I was learning from like the top tier people. Like one of my directors was the I guess founder of Fuse. Like she started Fuse. And then my other like my direct boss, she was the godmother of BET Soul. Like she started that. So for me, like I'm learning from these women that are super talented. And not only that, they were women. So it's like to even see that was like, oh wow.
Mhm.
And women of color. Like it was dope. Like I was like, it surprised me and they helped me move my shit all the way up. Like and now I'm where I'm at and it's like, yeah, I still talk to my old boss and she was like, yeah, you were amazing at programming, so I get it.
Nice.
Yeah.
How are you able to juggle this position and the demanding podcast production schedule that you keep? I
Oh
feel
my
like I
God.
see you with a new one all the time.
I have like 30 million like podcasts. I've slowed down. I have definitely slowed down, but when I was in it, it was nonstop. Like I was just constantly I was up all night. Like I didn't sleep really and I didn't go out much. I was inside a lot, just like
Mhm.
working, editing. My weekends were basically me working on the podcast. That's kind of like the time that I had. And then any time after work. So like when I was, at the Combat Jack show, like I was splitting my time with, I think Fool's Gold at the time and the Combat Jack show. So like Fool's Gold in the morning. And then at night, I would be going to the Combat Jack show and doing all that stuff. And it was very like, it was a lot. Like I think I might have been delirious for a lot of time. And I'm happy that Fool's Gold was cool with me being like ridiculous. Like sometimes I don't think I made any sense, but it's cool. Like it was fine. I did my job. I just didn't speak very well or write emails that made sense, you know.
As long as you're getting the job done, I think that's
Right?
all they care about.
That's all.
Um, how has self quarantine and the pandemic taught you to slow down a bit and take time for yourself?
Oh, yeah. Um, that was a big, I think it hit me really hard because I was constantly doing so much
Mhm.
and to have to stop was really weird. I felt like I wasn't productive. So I was really hard on myself in the beginning, being like, oh, yeah, I need to do something and I have to, so I was constantly trying to find something to fill my mind, but then was also really worried about what was happening outside. And then I was like freaking out. And then I started realizing the importance of like the people that hold me the fuck down on an everyday basis, and like people that are checking up on me and like, reaching out. And I was like, oh, these are the people that I should be caring about. I should not be on social media being like, hey, yeah, man, we're locked down. Like, yeah, it's funny. The shit is, good to look at something, but like it is also overwhelming at the same time. And like, just as the time went on, I just realized like, yo, people are dying. Like it's crazy. I'm like, and they shouldn't be. Like this
Right.
shouldn't be happening. And and then the whole like Black Lives movement and all this stuff like just sort of was happening. And it was like, man, I need to make sure that my like the people I love are okay, not just like I could care less about like anything else that's out there, because
Right.
people's lives are at stake, and the ones that I love, like the people that I care about the most. So like this whole thing has just made me love my friends way more, and my family, and like, you know, all the people that have been there. Like I truly appreciate all of them. So
Nice.
that's what this has taught me, to appreciate all of my peoples.
Nice. What are you listening to these days? Do you have a pandemic playlist?
Oh my God. So funny enough, since I make playlists all day, I actually
Mm-hmm.
don't have playlists. Like people think that's
For
insane.
yourself. Yeah.
They're like, "What do you mean you don't have a playlist?" And I'm like, I kind of just dump things into like if I like a song, like so I have like three playlists, and they're just really general playlists. So like I just kind of add on to them as I go on. But like I've been listening to some really good like UK music, like UK rappers and stuff. And like they're really good. They're really good. And then like oh my God, there's somebody that I really enjoyed a lot. I'm gonna have to look this up because I completely forgot her
Thank
name, and
you.
I feel really bad about that, but she is amazing. She's amazing. But yeah, I get to listen to a lot of like new artists. So
Mm-hmm.
it's cool because I just been listening to like all these people that I've never listened to before. So the person that I was really, really, really into is Jazzy, and she's fucking dope. She's like
Can you spell? Is it like Jazzy?
Jozzy, and Jazz.
Jozzy.
Yeah, and she is actually one of the writers for Lil Nas X, and she
Oh,
did Old Town Road. That was the song that she started, like that
nice.
she wrote. And so she has this song out, and it was fucking phenomenal. Like she killed that shit, and I was like, oh, Jazzy's so dope. And then there's this other chick that I'm really into. Her name is Chica. I actually found her when I was at A3C, so it was a little bit before the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
But Chica is super, super dope as well. She like could sing, she could rap, she could act. She's like the full package and more. Like she's a fucking star. She is a fucking star. And when I saw her, I was like, this woman right here is gonna kill this shit. She's gonna kill the game. And like, it was cool meeting her and like being able to like push her on like my platforms and like have her work with us. And she was great. And like I love listening. Like she dropped an EP while the pandemic was happening, like right in the beginning of it. And it
Mm-hmm.
was amazing. Like I think she had like 5 tracks on it. It was so good, so good. And then she went on to like I think at the Tiny Desk, uh,
Oh,
like
nice.
series, and she did
Mm-hmm.
like her whole album. And like you could just, she's just good. She's so good. She's so talented, so talented.
Nice. I don't know if you want to answer any questions from the chat, but someone just asked if you could name your top three albums of 2020 so far.
Ooh, oof, oof. What albums have come out into wait? I
That's what
have
I
to
was
look
trying to think
this
of
up.
when they said that. I was like, hmm.
I was like, wait a minute. What albums came out? I always forget like what
Year stuff comes
started
out.
in 22, like 2020,
Me too.
22. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
So I'm like, because then I was gonna say like which album was really good? I know Shay Noir. She
Mhm.
just dropped something with Apollo Brown.
Oh,
Um,
I love
and
Apollo
that
Brown.
shit, she is. she's another. I'm really into these women artists. Like, yes,
Nice.
I love this. But she's upstate New York. She is 38 Specials like um artist. So like, she's part of that whole crew.
Hmm.
And she did I think it was an EP or album with oh, it was an album with Apollo Brown, who is obviously one of like a really
Yeah,
fucking amazing producer. So that one is really dope. I love that album.
I'll have to
There
check that.
I don't know if there's anything else that I would really. Oh, top three.
I
I'm
mean,
still trying to figure it out. Like,
don't feel
I got,
pressure to. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm
That's all.
trying. I'm sorry to whoever
You can
asked
come
that
back to it if you
question.
think of anything else.
I will come back to it because I'm not really sure what was going on. Oh wait, Buddy, love Buddy, Buddy and Kent Jams. That shit, that's like a summer album. So that's
Nice.
my second one. That one is a really good one too. Buddy, I love. Okay,
All right.
okay, we could go.
So, who, in your opinion, I know you just took a break from social media, so you might be a little bit out of sorts right now, but who's
Mhm.
got the best IG Live platform right now, and D Nice is disqualified?
I mean, yeah, D-Nice should be disqualified. I mean, Versus obviously is another platform, and this I think it's this week with DMX and Snoop Dogg, so that's really dope.
Mhm.
And I feel like they have entertained us through this whole thing, and I appreciate that and what they did for or during the pandemic. So
Mhm.
shout out to them. I also really like J Period's like shit. He's
Me too.
like I love J Period. He's really dope.
Mhm.
Um, I also am really into chopping it up with the Conduit, which is just like a kind of like this. It does it
Mhm.
every Sunday, and it's really dope because he interviews all these really amazing artists. So I check
Nice.
that out every Sunday. And what else is there? Hmm, I guess Questlove, love Quest. Like he does his little
Yeah.
thing, and I think just Blaze also does some stuff. But like at the end of the night when it's really really late when no one's
Uh-huh.
up, it's just like a just like colors and music. And then I think like I'm going crazy, but that's
Yeah.
cool. I'm okay with that. But yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. That's like ninth. Ninth always has like it red on.
Yes.
Do you have any other projects in the works that you want to promote?
Well, still working on Book of Rhymes podcast. That is still going strong. So you could always check that out at Book of Rhymes. Book of Rhymes Pod on IG and Twitter. And then you could find us on all streaming platforms. So it's really dope. And then I am working on a couple of other podcasts. I'm trying to do a Filipino podcast right now, based off of like so it's not even, yeah, it's definitely not music related. It's mostly just like a Filipino one, and it should be dope. I have one episode out right now, so if anyone wants to check it out, it's
Is
on
it
my
like the
profile.
history of the Philippines or kind of what's happening there right now? Or
It is me trying to figure out what the Philippines is about because I never learned about it, and I
Mhm.
never really like I didn't have enough people in my life to really I mean, other than my like family, I didn't have other
Right.
kids around me that were Filipino. So like I never really understood. Like I got the culture, but like I wasn't really involved like or invested in it. And I just didn't care about learning about anything. So what I did was I decided to like or what I'm doing is I'm interviewing other Filipinos. And so the first episode is me and my parents and my sister. And it's like, we're going through why they like started to like why they went to Yonkers and so
Mhm.
it really gives a bigger background to like what I was doing, like what how I grew up and stuff. And then I started interviewing other Filipinos and kind of just like asking them the same questions, like seeing how they grew up and like, the difference about like how they did it, how I did it, if they speak the language, if they don't speak the language. So it's a really cool like it's a really good podcast. It's just there's a lot of work and research that
Yeah.
goes into it. And like the editing is really crazy, but
Mhm.
shout out to Lion of Bed-Stuy for that. He edits a lot of the podcasts that I do, so
He was on here
he's
earlier.
very. Hmm?
He was on here earlier.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so so that was, he does that, and yeah, it should be good. Should be good.
I have a couple of people I could probably connect you with if you'd be interested. I have a couple of friends that are.
Oh, yes. That would be
Mhm.
awesome. Oh, surely, yes. I did interview my parents in English, only because I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
I was like, I am the worst. Not the worst. I'm not. I was never taught, which is, I touch on that as well. So, there's all these questions that I never really thought
Mhm.
about. And now I am, and I'm like, this all doesn't make sense. I want to know why. So
Mhm. And then
but yeah.
side note or question: did you grow up in Yonkers?
I grew up there, which
I
is
grew up
why.
in I grew up in Westchester in Cortland Manor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I used to go to
Wow.
Yonkers
What is,
all the time.
yes, Yonkers was the shit. Like, hey, there was a lot of shit happening out there. A
Oh
lot.
yeah.
And we have fun. We have fun out there. I'm not even gonna front.
Hmm.
Being out there was fun. We did a lot. I did a lot of crazy shit. I know I did a lot of crazy shit. So, and now yeah. And I don't know if you used to go to the movie theaters there
I
out in
did.
Yonkers, if you go to
Hmm.
Movie Land,
Hmm.
because that's where I used to work, was
Oh
Movie
shit.
Land.
I wonder if
Actually,
I saw you there.
you probably did. I was either in the booth or I was concession, and I was usually pretty fucked up. And I was like, woo! And I had piercings, a lot of piercings on my face. I think I was the only one that had piercings everywhere. But um, being from Westchester, knowing you know, Movieland is probably like that was one of the spots at Nathan's. Those are
Hmm.
the two. But I used to work at Movieland. Actually, my boy Josh is on here too, and he worked with me. He worked with me on while we were in like
Nice.
high school and stuff. So it was pretty cool. But that's dope. I'm glad that there's another Westchester person representing out here.
Uh-huh. And so just to kind of get back to the interview, my last question. So you've done a really great job using your online presence to highlight some racial injustice that's become so prominent in social media. Are you hopeful that the protests and other events could change the narrative on racism in this country, or may have a little bit already?
Um, I feel okay. So I think with everything that I've been doing, all the stuff that I've been pushing, and like I feel like there are baby steps. It's all baby steps.
Hmm.
We're not gonna see change, like big change for a while. Like that's not gonna happen. And we've been doing this for years. Like this isn't the first time we have had these discussions before. So this is like, okay, but it's being noticed more, which I think is a good thing. I feel
Hmm.
like when you could see everyone protesting at the same time, like that's a big deal. Like, having Black Lives Matter spray painted on the street, like that's a big deal. Like, yeah, these are small moments for, whatever. It's not changing anything, but it's being seen. And I think that's the most important part, is that now people are realizing that this isn't fucking cool. Like this is crazy. Like this is not even human anymore. Like, and I'm glad that people are realizing it. I mean, it's frustrating that it had to come down to this and a pandemic for people to really understand. And like even to this day, people still don't get it, which I it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind because it's like, are you a human? Like do you like killing people? Is that your thing? Or what the fuck is wrong with you? So, you know, at least the people that at some point weren't aware or didn't care are now aware at least, and maybe they slightly care, but they're at least aware. And I think that's really a big part of it. And hopefully from all this awareness, little things will start happening. And then, there's so much that we have to do. And one of the bigger ones is to get that fucking dude out of the presidency. He needs to get the fuck out. He's fucking shit up. Like,
I know how he
big
hasn't
time.
been kicked out yet, but
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But, that is, baby step. And I tell everybody that, like, the fact that people are making these changes, that you're seeing like companies changing their ways just because everyone's talking about it, that's a big thing. And it's a little win, but that goes a big way. So,
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of little wins will hopefully start making bigger.
bigger ones.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, Mika, thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, thank you for having me. This is fun. I know we've been trying to
So glad you're
coordinate
back.
this. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if I'm gonna be back for a long time, but I'm back for now. So,
Well, I'm also really glad that you know when to take time for yourself.
yeah, self-care, always important.
So, hmm.
Yeah. But thank you so much
Well,
for
I hope
having
you have a
me.
great weekend. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
All right. Yes,
Have a
you
good
will.
night.
Peace.